Welcome to the WMMA Today podcast with Drake Riggs and I, Steve King. We have a pretty stacked lineup today. We'll talk about the one Fist of Fury recap, the UFC Vegas 20 recap, where we kind of bombed our picks. A bunch of news, a lot of great news coming up, and then good fights headlined by the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, and Megan Anderson.
Yup.
So let's get this shit started with the one Fist of Fury, Victoria Lee, the youngin, beat Sunisa Srezen by a rear naked choke in the the first round?
Second round.
Second round, yeah.
Very
Youngin
impressive.
is good.
Very, very impressive. For 16 years old, she looked very sharp on the feet immediately.
Yeah.
Striking was on point, really
Dude,
laser.
She was fucking, man. Yeah, you said laser. That shit was straight up on point, dude. Like she had some fucking good striking skills, man. I wasn't really like going into it. I wasn't really looking at her striking. Because she's elite. She's better on the ground.
Yeah. And I mean, we did end up seeing the fight was finished there, and she got close to the rear naked choke early in that first round as well.
Yeah.
But
that's why I was thinking that it was the first round.
Right,
but then,
right.
Of course, I remembered it was the second round.
Yeah, the first attempt there.
Yeah.
But no, that was about as debuts, especially at that age, don't go much better than that. She didn't really have any trouble. Just she got the headlock kind of takedown, which ended up getting her into an advantageous position. So that was about it, though. Other than that, flawless stuff and kind of scary that she is that young and that good.
Yeah. Aaron, welcome, Aaron. He says 16 years old, bro. What the fuck? Yeah. The young Lee Padawan is just, dude. She's one to watch. She's one to watch. I mean, the way that she handled her debut at 16 years old. Sky's the limit with that girl. I mean, for now, things can change rapidly once she starts fighting, better opponents. But I mean, 16 years old, making her debut and finishing like that, fucking spectacular, dude. Spectacular.
Yep. Yeah, and against somebody with 5 pro fights already, and only 1 loss. So
Yep,
indeed, good stuff from the youngest Lee. Well, the youngest Lee that is currently fighing. They do have a younger brother.
There's another one, right?
So yeah, maybe we'll see him someday. Wouldn't doubt it.
One's gonna have at some point. One is gonna have all 4 of them champions.
Jesus,
dude,
they're all still incredibly young.
That's probably what one's going for.
Yeah, but yes, Yusuf. Hard to have missed that. Did you see the breaking news there? Man, maybe
I did. We'll see. So Yusuf says, I know it's off topic, but Hamza announced his retirement on Instagram. Yeah, there was blood, and there was blood in the sink. So you got to think, Gizmo
up here.
Look, say hi. Look over here.
He's like, what are you doing, Dad?
Look. There you go. There it is.
That was incredible. Look at, he's got his Packers sweater on. This is a first. Gizmo.
He's just happy that I'm home.
Yeah. He's like, where you been, dude? Incredible. But yeah, wish Hamzat the best and hope he stays safe and all that madness. Crazy. The virus doesn't happen to be a joke. Who would have thought? So,
dude, it's terrible, man. It's terrible what has happened to Hamzat. We've heard things about Cody Garbrandt having bad issues. That's why he hasn't fought.
Yep.
But I mean, if this is retirement for Hamzat at how old is he?
See, that's That's the thing. He's too young for me to believe this. For he'll come back at some point if
Yeah,
this
dude.
is real.
But I mean, but if he might be scared as shit for
Right.
his health, At this
Yep.
point, he might be like, all right, well, I gotta watch myself.
Yeah. Once this
And
thing's gone, he'll be back. I think.
yeah,
These are MA retirements we're talking about.
yeah,
And yep, you saw that there, Aaron. I got the mustache comb.
ridiculous.
This was a birthday present for myself, actually. So it is comes in handy. But all right, let's move it along, you guys. We're going a little bit turbo today, somewhat. But anyways, UFC Vegas 20 happened this weekend as well, and yeah, our predictions were kind. I mean, for how the fights played out, our previews were good.
Okay, so that's exactly it. Our previews were fine.
The
But
picks were off.
the picks were off. And okay, we're starting with Montana De La Rosa. She fought Myra Bueno Silva to a majority draw, as y'all can see on the bottom ticker there, 27-28, 28-28, and another 28-28. I was honestly fine with the draw
Yep.
in that fight. I was perfectly fine with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the first round, obviously, that's kind of the big talking point with the fence grab, which we will get into later. Because Mr. Aaron, he asked about that in the mailbag today. The fence grab, of course, which deducted a point for MBS, Mayor Bueno Silva.
Yeah.
And so, depending on who you gave that round to, 10-8 or a 9-9, I thought Montana still won it, so that would have been a 10-8 on my cards. And then she lost the last two rounds where. It's funny, because as we said, got to get back to that wrestling, Montana, and she really tried to, but kind of forgot about mixing it up, like we said she probably needed to.
She literally focused on just the wrestling, she literally focused on going for the sprawl, going for the legs, and trying to take Myra down.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't working. Myra is very strong, like. She had it on lock. Like she wasn't letting Montana move her, really.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny too, because like in the first round, I think we saw the most striking exchanges. I think that's fair to say early on before Montana really attacked with her wrestling. I thought Montana was hanging in there fine. Like they were both connecting pretty solidly.
It was a good fight.
Yeah, she wasn't getting like outclassed or anything. So
no, it was a great fight. It was fun, man. That fight was fun. And then at the very end, of course, Montana got busted up.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, her face was wrecked.
She's lucky that was when the fight was ending, because her eye was closed.
Oh yeah, her eye was fucked.
She has worn some damage throughout her career, man. You remember that cut on The Ultimate Fighter?
Dude, she's like Nate Diaz, man, where she gets hit and she just starts leaking.
Yeah, it would seem so. But she never goes away. And we saw that vintage Montana we wanted to see, which is good, but at the same time she's still she's got to find that fine balance, which it was there in the beginning. It was there in that first round, but then she just turned into a complete wrestler only. So that ended up costing her. But hey, not a loss. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a draw, and I mean, I guess it is what it is. They both look pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
They both probably thought they won.
Yeah, and I mean, there's cases you could make all three of these cases here,
right?
So.
It's fair to go with Myra. It's fair to go with Montana. It's definitely fair for a draw. I don't like draws, and I don't like draws. It's one of the things that I can't stand, because there should always be a winner, I think. But in this case, because of that damn point deduction,
right. And before we move on here to the next fight, I want to say that 28-27 actually is a very bizarre scorecard. If you actually saw that judge, I'm forgetting who it was, but they gave the third round a 10-8 to
I saw that.
Silva, which I was like, I don't know about that. I think she won the round, but that's a That seems a bit confused, buddy.
That's, I
And then
mean,
I think he gave her the first round. Like his cards were all over the place.
yeah, I don't.
But
These judges, it's just kind of ruined. I mean, luckily for this fight, it didn't really make a difference. I don't think,
yeah,
but I mean, it definitely can make a difference in fights, and that sucks for the. For us, it doesn't really matter, but for the fighters, that sucks. Man.
yeah, indeed.
So I'm
Indeed.
looking at what round was it?
The third round.
Third round of 10 and 8.
Yeah.
Eric Malone.
Right. Okay, that's who it was. Yeah. A little bit off sometimes, and I think that was one of them. So,
Yeah, the
but
28-27.
yeah. All right. So I know you were gonna start here with this one, but let's get into it.
I mean, do I even want to like talk about this? I was
We knew it
like
was possible.
I was honestly upset by this fight. Alexis Davis just she's a grinder. Like I'm supposed to like her because of the wrestling, right? Like you would think that I would have been a fan of Alexis Davis and like wanted her to win. No, it's not that I'm not a fan of Alexis Davis. It's that I'm a bigger fan of Sabina Mazo. So Alexis Davis did great. She looked wonderful in her comeback fight, after being out since 2019. Looked phenomenal. She's a grinder, man. She's a grinder, and she's very tough. She's very tough. And is 135 her home? It seems like it. She said that she felt amazing at 135.
Yeah, back home where she used to be her whole career, pretty much.
Yeah.
And just went to flyweight a little bit too late.
What was it, like her last 2 fights or something like that? Where she went to flyweight?
4, I think.
Was it 4? Damn.
Yeah.
Well, she's been in so many fights too.
Yes, very true. Yeah, this was a total veteran performance, by Alexis Davis, the veteran, the more experienced of the two, because she, won the first round, got her down, but before that, and pretty much the entire fight, when it was in the striking, she was on the receiving end of, the better shots from Sabina Mazo, who was, beating her on the feet as we kind of expected to happen. But then she just adapted and continued to stick with the, her grappling, which we knew was kind of the X factor that she had in the back pocket. Very underappreciated black belt she is, and utilized it to, I don't want to say perfection, but very close. Got her the win. Got her everybody to score, all the judges to give her all 3 rounds. I thought Sabina did do more damage for a better amount of time in the second round to give her that one. But either way, I do think that Davis got the rightful win.
It didn't really matter. Again, This was another one where it didn't really matter. Alexis Davis was the better fighter in that fight. Sabina Mazo is still only 23 years old. She's and yes, Yusuf, he's telling you, don't forget. See, my ceiling for Mazo is champion. That's a ceiling. That's not saying I think that she's absolutely going to be a champion. I think that she has the ceiling of being a champion. Clearly, she needs to work on things. Every fighter needs to work on things at some point, right? She's only 23 years old. She was a young champion in LFA. She was 20 years old when she was a champion in LFA. That's super fucking young, man.
Yeah, and this is one of those losses and opponents that you 100%
Alexis
learn
Davis
from.
is a monster. Dude, she beat Amanda Nunes. Like,
this is true.
And Liz Carmouche 2 times. And, I mean, she's fought some of the best fighters. Like, some of the best fighters, female fighters that have taken, put their foot in the octagon.
She's been around. She has been. Oh yeah, that is true. Good mention there, Ghost Phantom. Her kicks were actually pretty good in that fight.
Yeah, dude, she was on it. She was on her shit, man. Like this was a great fight for Alexis Davis.
Yeah, not a bad comeback whatsoever. So.
And in a division where we talk about it all the time, they kind of need it.
Work for the rematch. Work your way up.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But
Yeah, we'll see. But good to have Alexis Davis back. Always have liked her. But all right, let's get to the Twitter mailbag now. Gonna try and breeze through these a little bit, you guys, but still give them the time they deserve. So let's start off here. Waleed coming in hot.
yeah, so he said on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does Amanda beating Megan add to her legacy?
1 to 10. 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Well, it always depends on how they beat these people, but I'll say a pretty comfortable 6, no matter what, just because it continually extends her winning streak, and that's pretty much the big part about it. Beating another top featherweight like Megan, a good, not a bad name to have on the resume. It depends on how she would win this, also for the number to really be set in stone, and we'll discuss that afterward, but I'll go with a solid 6 before.
I think at this point for Amanda Nunes, it's just putting names on your resume.
Right.
And that's not saying that Megan Anderson isn't a good name. She is. Everybody that Amanda Nunes fights is good. They're all fighting for a title fight, right? Whoever, if you get to a title fight, you're a pretty damn good fighter. Megan's been around for a long time too. She's a former Invicta champion. She's good. She's very good. I think that this is like Drake. This is around a 6 or a 7. It depends on how long Amanda Nunes keeps going, and it depends on where Megan Anderson goes from after this fight.
Yep. Well said. And second part for Waleed.
Okay, will the winner of Weili versus Rose be considered the GOAT of strawweight, considering both beat Joanna?
No, too soon. Either would have to still do some work. You got to think how Joanna was undefeated and defended the title 5 times. Like,
she was.
You got to have that longevity in there.
Kind of forgetting, like people are kind of forgetting because she's doing all the Instagram stuff and all that. Like, dude, she was a legit as fuck champion. She was wrecking. Yep. She was wrecking opponents.
Yeah, that she was. So it's easy to forget, you guys. I think Weili though would have a better case in that situation. But either way, somebody still has to do work to catch up to Joanna, I think, and just got to be a little bit.
I do think that Megan is a legit 45, though.
Oh, 100%.
She's an Invicta champion.
Yeah. No, she physically cannot get past 145. Yeah. That's just not even doable.
Dude, she's tall as fuck. Have you seen her? Like, her legs are as tall as my whole body almost. She's got these. She's like an Amazon, dude. Yeah, she's a legit 145.
Yep. Yusuf throwing in there, has Joanna declined?
Did you not see that fight against Weili? Yeah. It was amazing. No, she hasn't declined. She's just not fighting.
I think that she is just as good as she always has been. It's just that other people have caught up with her.
She's amazing, dude. That fight against Weili didn't do anything to disprove that she's not amazing.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. Welcome, Sammy. Good to see you, sir. Asking what's the point of GOAT talk. Everyone has their own criteria what makes a GOAT, so it's a never-ending conversation. That's the fun of it, and there's no one definition. I would prefer maybe one concrete thing to it, like pound for pound, which has multiple definitions as well. But yeah, it's primarily a marketing tool, if we're going to be totally honest, sir. But yeah, it's always a fun topic to discuss, obviously, as it gets brought up as often as it possibly can, but
all the time.
Yep, all the time. Going to Yusuf now.
It's a talking point.
Mailbag.
All right, so Yusuf says, who is the best WMMA at managing distance? Women's fighter at managing distance.
It's probably Valentina came to mind, and I know he'll love that.
It's 100% Valentina, dude.
Yeah. I think that is definitely.
Chikajian's pretty damn good too.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Good shout there. But yeah, Valentina, the safe one, I would say. Yusuf, you'll love that one. And some more true or falses for us.
Yes, true or false, Yusuf. I love it. Healthy
here.
Suarez beats Rose and Whaley.
Oh, that's
a healthy Tatiana Suarez beats Rose and Whaley.
Yeah. Since he said both of them, he says both of them. I'm going to say false, but I think that she would beat Rose. Yes. So
yeah.
All right, next one.
Val 4 and Nunes 5 will beat DJ's record of 11 title defense.
False. That's too much.
Ain't nobody beating DJ's record, dude. Yeah. That shit is wild as fuck.
Locked.
And that shit is wild as fuck, and ain't nobody ever gonna beat that.
Yeah, it is a lockdown. All right, next one.
Nunes will face GDR or Holm again. True or false? Yes. False. True. Holly Holm beats Pena. There it is.
I know, but the only thing is, I'm thinking, would Amanda rather retire than do that again? She has no reason to do that again.
I don't know.
So
man.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say false on that.
Holm brings the money.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh, that's a good last one. I didn't see that one.
By the end of 2022, there will be a 2-division champ not named Nunes in women's MMA as a whole.
Yep. I'm gonna say false. Of course, I was thinking to one in Angela and Jingnan, all of that. But for that to happen, by the end of 2022, though. Okay, I missed that part.
Yeah.
Ooh. That is tough, Yusuf. That is a real tough one. I'm still gonna say false. It is tough. The talent level is only getting higher and higher, as we know. But I can't wait to find out. I'm gonna go false,
I'm going
though.
false as well. I don't think that it'll happen in the UFC. It would have to happen in a different organization.
Yeah.
Like one.
Speaking of that, though, Zap Patella expressed interest in strawweight, which I think will be too big for her, but cool. Very cool.
She's pushing 5 foot. She's 4'11", 98 pounds.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting to see. All right, last one, which I hinted at already from Mr. Juicy Man, as I like to call
him. In the Mayra Bueno Silva versus Montana De La Rosa fight, King Jaron Vallel took a point for a blatant cage grab. What do y'all think about the point deduction in general, and should cage grabbing be legal? Juicy says yes.
This is interesting because I saw people kind of mentioning this after the fact, but it's funny because we've seen it before and it was never mentioned earlier, which I thought was interesting. And the argument being, well, if there's a cage there, why can't we use it, kind of thing, which I get. But the whole point of it being illegal is to simulate a real fight situation where there wouldn't be a cage. The only reason the cage is there is because they need a space to fight in and not go into the audience, right? That's the only reason we have, walls in our MMA enclosures and what have you. So the point deduction was excellent. I thought it was the right move because here's the thing. You should take a point every time that a fence grab, an illegal move, which is fine because, like I said, simulating a real situation where pretend it's not there. Yeah, I know it is there. It's a part of fighting, but take away that part. The fence grab, when it prevents a takedown from happening, which is what this one did, that's a point. That you got to take it away because it prevented something in the action. It helped the fighter in a way that it should not have or would not have if that was not there. And we saw later in the night too, I don't remember who it was, but somebody also, I think it was Ankalaev, grabbed the cage, but but he still got taken down, so it wasn't a problem. It was a warning. You don't take a point for that because the takedown happened. If it didn't, though, if that helped him stay up, you should take one in that case, I think. So, I was all for that. And Jaron Villel a little bit, wishy-washy at times, but I think that was a good call by him because it prevented the takedown from happening, as I
He's
said.
so up and down as a referee.
Yeah.
It it's kind of infuriating to watch him ref because you don't know if he's going to be in the mix of a fight, and just let the fighters fight. But as far as the cage grabbing, and stuff, I'm okay with a little bit of cage grabbing. But she like blatantly
Yeah. I think that
grabbed
the
the
toe
cage
stuff was kind of like,
as Montana was taking her down.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So we don't see it very often though these days. It seems like people have gotten a lot better about.
Smart about it. The fighters are smart about it.
Yeah.
They know.
So.
They know. I mean, it was literally one time, and they got a point deduction.
Yeah. You're not going to do it again after that. So see, then it stops it completely dead in its tracks, and Bueno Silva did get more aggressive after that. So hey.
So Rain says, not you guys, just are okay. So they put, man, people this week in MMA media overlooking Whaley again, and I totally agree with that. I put in the comments, it's kind of like y'all must have forgot about Whaley. It like, okay, I agree that she's been out, but dude, did you guys not see how she fought prior to being out? I mean, MMA media, they're fickle people. They're fickle people who like to cry about the sport all the time, and they like to say things that get people talking, like you, Rain. You probably got a little bit pissy about the comments toward Whaley, and I agree with it. I've seen it from people in MMA media. I hate it. I hate how MMA media does this to people who have been out for a while. They do it all the time. Drake and I are not those people.
Of course not. It's always insane. Yusuf, what are you talking about? Whaley's training, insane on IG.
Dude,
she's
such a monster. She's a beast, dude, training.
Yep.
She's a beast.
Makes me miss her even more.
I know, dude, but it's going to be so great once she's actually in the cage, though, right?
Yep, absolutely. So, all right. Thank you for the Twitter mailbag questions today, you guys. Awesome stuff. Now it is on to the news, which we got some good ones, I would say, especially the more recent ones. But let's kick it off with not a terrible matchup.
No. So Andrea Lee and Antonina Shevchenko are going to fight on May 15th, assuming it's in Vegas, right? I mean,
yeah.
Would assume
I would assume
still
so.
in May.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are they going to go back to Abu Dhabi at all?
Summertime, I believe. That is what Dana said anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe I can find something out this week. We'll see.
This is such a fun fight.
I feel like we talked about this option after one of their last fights.
We definitely did. And it's the Muay Thai goodness.
Right. And do or die for KGB. I mean, 3 losses in a row, which is still very odd to think about. That's been the case, and
crazy.
She loses this one.
I don't think that they can. I don't think that they'll cut her. I really don't.
Well, you never know.
They're not going to let her go to Bellator.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a winnable fight for her. I think if she utilizes that grappling that we kind of forget about and seems to have failed her in kind of some of these more recent matchups, but we've seen it on display before this losing streak. If she can get back to that and use it effectively against somebody who is obviously not the best grappler of all time or anything, this should be a winnable fight for her. And on the feet, it should be fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Not mad at the matchup at all. And so yeah, should be a fun one.
And Ryo says, assuming Andrea Lee can make weight. Yeah. Yep. And then Yusuf says, does Antonina merit herself in the rankings, or is it because of her last name? she's a decent fighter. She's good. She's a good fighter. But I think
It's the name.
I definitely think that the Shevchenko name really helps her. I mean, they obviously want to push her too.
Yeah, which has
But she's a
been
good fighter. I mean,
yeah.
she's good.
Yeah, they've definitely, we talked about people being rushed like Macy Barber recently and all that, but they definitely fast tracked Antonina against the same person even. Roxy, threw
Yeah,
her too
yeah.
quickly for whatever reason. I was very salty about that at the time, and you could probably go back and watch that on past episodes. I don't remember which ones, but if you really want to see, you could find it. All right, on to the next bit of news, which was a surprising one. This was maybe the most surprising news of the week, Steve. You tell me.
Yeah, so the PFL signed Caitlin Young and Taylor Gradado.
It's alternates.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with this, but it makes me happy that PFL is actually signing girls rather than the UFC staying stagnant.
Yep, totally agree. Caitlin Young, of course, the striking Viking, one of the best 145 pounders also
Yeah,
out there. And of course, will be moving up to 155. And now she's kind of in that role of hoping to be, Sarah Kaufman version 2.0 in this tournament, where I would be fine with Caitlin Young versus Kayla. That would be the best case scenario in terms of a fight that you could have. Of course, Caitlin isn't in the immediate tournament. She'll need somebody to drop out or what have you. And then Taylor Gordado is a very odd one because she was in the bantamweight Phoenix series and lost, I think, in the first round. So she's
second
0-1. Or was it the second fight? Did she win the first one?
yeah, she won the first one,
Okay. I
and
remember her looking good, but it's like just
yeah, I
not
mean,
the most experience.
she was out for like years because she had a baby, and she
Right.
started doing the family thing. She had fought Ronda Rousey in the amateurs.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, Taylor Gradado, she's a decent fighter. It's just that we haven't seen her in a long time, other than the Phoenix
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
You know,
Funny enough, a
prior
tournament
to
as
that,
well.
I think it was something like 6 or 8 years or some shit like that.
Yeah, has had a very roller coaster of a career in that sense, but yeah, nice to see that PFL's actually,
I
giving
like it.
some people some spots, and I imagine maybe they would fight each other for the alternate. We will see what happens, you guys, but
Yeah, I would like to see that fight. That would be fun.
why not? Why
Yeah.
not? And back to
You think if Antonina starts screaming, she'll get a stoppage like her in her last fight?
it's possible, I guess. I
Funny.
mean, it's possible.
It's
Watch
funny
out
though.
for that ghost. All right, back to the flyweight division. What do you think about this one, Steve?
It's all right. Courtney Casey versus Jj Aldridge, UFC Vegas 21 on March 13th. It's all right. Courtney Casey's looked decent lately. JJ Aldridge
Not at
still is,
flyweight. It's been a little rough at flyweight for Courtney.
yeah, I mean, she's had tough fights, but she's always in them.
Right, very true.
JJ Aldridge is all right. I mean, I guess.
I feel like we haven't seen JJ in a good while. I don't remember
Yeah.
who her last fight was, but yeah, it's an all right, back of the line kind of flyweight fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was just one of the first fights of the card.
Yeah, it probably will be, and this is happening next week too. So kind of oddly thrown together very, very quickly. At
Yeah,
least into
this
the
is on
public.
the Leon Edwards Bilal Muhammad fight
Yeah.
or fight card.
So, yeah, I think it will be I think it'll end up being a very fun fight. But in terms of like getting excited for it, I'm like,
When is Courtney Casey not in a fun fight?
yeah, yeah, very true. And then same for JJ, especially
Yeah, JJ's
excuse me,
down.
recently.
Yeah, JJ's down.
So yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. Don't hate it.
I like it.
All right. To go from that one though to an absolute banger, which not official yet, but in the works. I will take it. There's been more noise about it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, so Yan Xiaonan and Carla Esparza in the works for the May 22nd fight card that is not the same card as Whaley and Rose.
Oddly enough.
Yep. Remember, they were supposed to be on that same card. Uh, it was talked about or whatever. Nope, but it's not.
Yeah, that's kind of a head scratcher to throw it almost an entire month behind. I don't know what the deal is with that.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe they're just thinking like if Rose something happens to Rose or whatever,
yeah, I don't know.
or even Whaley, they can have Carla step in. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
Either
would have
way,
put it
love it.
on the
Love
card.
me Yan Xiaonan. Y'all know that. Everybody knows. She is one of my favorites. And then taking on Carla, this is just the two top contenders, the rightful contenders, where either could get a title shot right now, but they got to get through
Yeah,
each other first before getting there.
makes
This
sense.
is,
It just
yeah,
makes complete sense.
yep, and a fantastic style matchup to see, kind of who can handle the others, maybe kryptonite of sorts. So we know the case with Carla is usually she's not the best striker in the matchup, but of course the wrestling is some of the best in the division. Striker
Yeah,
versus
that's not
grappler
true.
essentially, and Zhao Nan is in for a test in that area, as most Carla opponents are. But then
Yeah,
striking, of course, Carla's got to get away from that.
yeah.
I love it. I need more Yan Xiaonan as often as possible, so I will take anybody for
It's
her.
such a good fight.
Yeah, that is going to be good. All right. What do we got here? Makoto Kyogu. Appreciate you, sir. Since I interviewed Yan, how did she get to the U.S. if there was a travel ban from China? Work visa, I believe, allows that leeway there, and she did show up like 2 months in advance. She was in the U.S. for about 2 months before that fight, and I mean that fight was supposed to happen earlier than it did, the Gadelia one. So she would have been there just for a month, but I believe work visas allow that. I know at the time that was kind of an interesting thing, but she left a lot earlier than you know people generally do, 2 weeks out or internet in international cases. But yeah, I don't know. They made it work. The UFC did whatever they could do, and
It
asking
seems
how
like the
hard is it?
UFC is really good at getting work visas. They're on top of their shit when it comes to that.
All right,
It's
and
just
just to
it's just
what's that? Go
the,
ahead.
it's just the Asian fighters that are kind of difficult right now.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part. But to
Yeah.
springboard off of that, Makoto, how hard is it going to be for Whaley? I mean, it shouldn't be too hard considering Zhao Nan was able to do it. I know that I don't know if she brought like her entire team because she trained with Team Alpha Male for that camp, but
Yeah.
if you just get ahead of this kind of thing, it's doable. Of course, it costs the fighter a lot of money, which is really shitty for them. It's
Yeah.
practically like you're breaking even. Like I
Sucks.
imagine that Xiaonan probably did not make a whole lot for that last win, which is just ridiculous to think about. But having to, do all the travel and expenses and accommodations that come with being here earlier, I'm sure the champ might get some favorable treatment though. So we'll see. They will make it work. It shouldn't be too difficult, especially like I said, if you get at it early. So we will see. All right, and then last bit of news for the lineup here. Fun one broke today. Love it.
Amazing, dude. So Kana Watanabe and Alejandro Lara will be fighting at Bellator 255 on April 2nd in Connecticut, Mohegan Sun. It's
April is so good.
like their home, Bellator's home away from San Jose, home away from home. We finally get to see Kana Watanabe fight, and it's against Alejandro Lara. God, what a fight this is!
Yep, this is awesome matchmaking for Kana's not debut, but her first fight as an official,
Yeah,
Bellator roster member. So
yeah,
this is awesome to see. This is right in line with kind of where both of them are in the division. We know who everybody is that's above them and who could arguably get title shots, all that stuff. And the winner of this will put themselves right back into that mix. Well, back for Lara, and then Kana climbing that ladder continually. So
such a
I am all
juicy
for
fight,
this.
man. I love it. I love
I
this
think
fight.
that this is pretty perfectly done, and I cannot wait for it. will be fun. April is absolutely insane.
Crazy, dude. April's so
Jeez.
good.
It is stacked with goodness.
April is good MMA.
April's good MMA, everybody. Cannot wait for it. Across the board. All right. Moving on now to what we got this week, though, which ain't half bad either. We will start off with what to watch for, which, speaking of tournaments, we do have a tournament coming this week.
Yeah, so the Deep Jules 32 atomweight tournament. We've talked about it the last couple of weeks, I think. Now it's gonna go on.
Yep, happening what the 7th there, which will be the 6th for us in the States. Unfortunately, I'm gonna miss this because of I'll be on the ground for UFC 259. But yeah, you guys definitely check this out if you're interested in the next coming of atomweights, as all plenty of fantastic prospects in here, except for Emi Tamimatsu, who of course is the veteran of the bunch, who has maybe close to as much experience as all of them combined. She is definitely the favorite, I think, for me because of that experience that she has. And if she can capture the title, that would be awesome for her to do. So late in her career, a real pioneer. And as you can see just by this poster, all the matchups are, as you can see here. So Aono versus Sato, Murakami versus Sakura, who of course was on the last Ryzen show. Siwoo Park versus Nisei, Saori Oshima versus Tomimatsu. I honestly am not sure if this is one night, but I believe it is a one-night tournament. So we'll get the new atomweight champ, crowned this weekend, and all of them, no matter who comes out on top, still have plenty of paths to go in the division, and will be interesting to see how it all shakes out. So if you're interested in the atomweight division, you cannot miss what Deep Jules is doing. Deep Jules, just in general, Japan's Invicta. So if you like Invicta, you will like Deep Jules as well. So gonna be good. And Yusuf throwing some breaking news at us.
Yeah, Yusuf is right. Robertson and Maverick did get rescheduled for UFC 260.
All right. How about that? I said, why not? Yeah, that works for me. I think that, too perfect. Why not do it if you could still do it? So I like that. Good to know.
This is like the third time they're going to try to fight, or what?
Something. All right, we're making good time here, you guys. I got an interview at the top of the hour, so we're going to get into this preview, maybe a little bit quick, as I got about 10 minutes or so. Let's dive into the first one.
All right, so Livia Renata Souza versus Amanda Lemos. Of course, this is UFC 259, which is taking place on Saturday for us. Livia Renata Souza versus Amanda Lemos.
I'm still on that Souza, that bandwagon, just because of what we've seen in her career and how good she has been prior to the UFC, and has let us down a little bit in the UFC. Yeah. But I don't know. Until she looks really, really awful against somebody, then I think I'm going to favor her in a lot of these matchups, the higher up we get, of course. But Lemos, also a very good prospect who's coming out of Brazil, and looked very good in that last fight with Mizuki. But, Rain throwing the real main event in here with this one. I like that. It's good fun. But I think that, of course, Lemos could pull this off, and she's actually the favorite, which is crazy to me. A little bit lack of respect there for Souza, as I'll keep tooting that horn. They're both pretty evenly matched, and in terms of power, I might give a slight edge to Lemos. But again, Souza, she just needs to show up. I think that's kind of been the problem with some of these performances recently, and maybe just the matchups. But if Lemos brings it to her, maybe it'll bring that dog out that we are used to seeing. I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one, but I still got to go with the person who has fought, better competition. We've seen more from them. So it's Souza for me, and I think it'll be a unanimous decision. It'll be tough though.
Yeah, I mean, Souza has she's fought a lot of good fighters. Moranjan, Hamasaki, Angela Hill. Who else? Oh, Van Buren,
Yep. Yeah.
Alex Chambers.
And beat
Like
Yoder.
Yoder, yeah. She's legit. She just needs to fucking show it.
Yeah. Yep. So
So
we'll see. Who you leaning?
Decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Just we know what she's capable of. It's just a matter of it really coming through. So all right, well, we will go from that to the title fight and the main event. The real main event.
Yeah, our main
yes.
event. I know there are 3 fights on this card, but this is the real main event.
Yep.
Amanda Champ Nunes versus Megan Anderson.
It's going down. It is going down. Finally, assuming there's no funny business, knock on wood. Fight weeks are always ridiculous these days.
Wild, man, wild.
But the real key here to this entire fight is Megan not getting taken down, right? That's pretty much the key. And her grappling has improved, recently and over these last couple fights, as we have seen. But it doesn't really matter how much improvements you make, because Amanda Nunes, as many people forget, is that damn good on the ground as well as the feet. A black belt in BJJ does have submissions on her record, but we're so used to seeing her outside of, I guess the last 2 fights she's shown her grappling off more. GDR really needed it for that one. And then Felicia did play on the ground a bit with
you
Felicia.
really need it for GDR.
Yeah. I mean, GDR, man, we know how good she is on the feet. So I think that this fight, obviously, Megan's best chance on the feet, the striking, that's where she's her best. She packs plenty of power. One of, the hardest hitters and biggest opponents physically that Amanda will have ever fought. Tallest, that's for sure. I don't think she's ever fought anybody that's 6 feet. In terms of size, Cyborg, of course, very large as well. Yeah, Megan is a legit featherweight, as we mentioned earlier. So yeah, she's the GOAT for a reason. She's one of the best, period. She can do it all. She really can. But, sometimes you just get a feeling. And sometimes you just like what you see. And the striking of Megan Anderson, I think the time that will be spent on the feet, I don't think Amanda is going to rush in immediately to go for a takedown or anything. I think that, why not play it safe and just get the win as quickly as possible, get in, get out. But I think she'll have some fun on the feet, make some, she knows that Megan's a striker, particularly test herself there. Why not? But it's not going to pay off. The upset is happening, you guys. First round knockout for Megan Anderson. I'm calling it. I've already put it out there. If she does not win in this fashion, I'm going to get a tattoo of a goat on me. This is official. So she's pulling off the upset. It's time. It is time for Megan Anderson. She's been waiting for this moment for 4 years now. Her first fight in the UFC was supposed to be for the title. So she's been preparing for this, and now happening without a crowd, less pressure, all these things.
Is it less pressure, though? She's fighting the best female fighter ever.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. She's been hearing that since Cyborg, like it's the same kind of noise. Everyone's counting her out.
Nunes beat Cyborg to become the best female fighter ever.
Yeah, but I'm calling it. I've already said my piece.
I know. And I saw the body lock. I saw it.
Well, I said this, for our bold predictions. Yeah, I've said this for a while. I just really went in on it this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for a Megan Anderson and new. I like that. Honestly, I want that because I think that this division deserves something fresh and new. I don't think Nunes being champion, we get the full division because they're not inclined to bring more fighters in. And as Drake said, Megan Anderson has been waiting for this opportunity for 4 years. 4 years is a long time to wait for an opportunity. How would you like it at your job to wait for 4 years to be promoted after being told you were going to get a promotion 4 years back? Everybody else would fucking quit their jobs, but at that point, move on. Megan Anderson has toughed it out. She stuck around.
Yep. It's been through it, physically and mentally. So
I don't know if she beats Amanda Nunes, though. I mean, I know I put it out there too. I know I did. I think that was more of me kind of just fucking around. But I do think that Megan Anderson has the chance because of her length, and her striking is kind of slept on. But again, Amanda Nunes is the best female fighter ever. Can't go against her. It's really hard to go against her. I mean, it's hard going against somebody when they're so dominant.
Yep. Totally understandable. So, all right. How do you think the GOAT's going to do it?
Yeah, I think she gets a finish. Please don't hate me, Megan. Please don't hate me.
You're never getting that MMA ink ever.
God damn it, Megan.
But all right, gonna have to wrap it there. A little bit premature, you guys. I am 4 minutes away from having to get out of here and need to set up a little bit. So thank you so much for tuning in. Got some new faces here today.
Love it.
Makoto, Rain, Sammy popping in. Appreciate you guys. Ghost showing up again. Yusuf.
Aaron, Juice.
Aaron, of course. Head Coach Steve.
Don't hate me, Juice, for saying your real name. It's there.
Yeah, it's there. It's there on your display. So thank you all to you guys. Follow, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow, at Drake Riggs _, at Steve K _MMA, at The Scrap News. All the stuff. I will be at UFC 259 covering Fight Week, leaving tomorrow morning. You can catch all of the coverage I will be giving you at SCMP MMA, the YouTube channel. Check it out. I'm going to have it all there for you.
It's going to be amazing.
Doing the damn thing. We're back at it, you guys. So can't wait. Cannot wait. Until then, Steve, take it away here.
Let's let Drake get the hell out of here. He's got shit to do.
I know. I'm stressed out.
All right. So thank you to everybody who shows up every week for us. Without you guys, there is no Drake and I on this show. Again, Aaron, Yusuf, Head Kick, Audio Steve, Ghost Phantom, Makoto, Sammy, Ryo, Rain, and whoever else watches but doesn't say shit or watches after we're done recording. Thank you to everybody. Until next time, we will catch you guys normal timing, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
Till next week.
Peace.